The ego wants control, identity, victory. But the soul seeks something gentler: stillness, surrender, union. Jung saw peace not as escape, but as ego's quiet dissolution. To let go of who you think you are, and become what you already are. Tonight we explore the soft death of ego, and the inner peace that only begins when the noise fades. Let us embark on a journey to explore the serene landscapes of our own minds, where the ego and peace stand as contrasting fundamentals shaping our experiences. The ego is a masterful architect of illusions, creating a structure that defines our identity with bold boundaries and hierarchies. It presents itself as the orchestrator, building an impenetrable facade to shield us from vulnerability, conjuring a narrative of self-importance that lets us navigate the world, differentiated yet endlessly striving for control. In this perpetual chase, the ego feeds itself with the myth of superiority and dominance, upheld by external validation, a brittle canopy shielding the dens of fear and insecurity. Within this silent battlefield there is a quiet yearning for tranquility, seemingly at odds with the ego's vehement propensity for control. As we wander deeper into this introspective realm, we must unravel the complexities the ego weaves. The ego perpetuates a cycle of dissatisfaction by promising peace as a distant destination. Yet the peace desired is never reached. Instead, it remains in the clutches of this insatiable quest, a voice that grows louder, overshadowing whispers of contentment. There is a seductive allure in control framed as security. The ego crafts predictable patterns to tether itself against life's inherent unpredictabilities, offering stability where uncertainty would otherwise reign. However, this fixation masks the chaos it seeks to avoid. The tighter the grip, the more frenetically we are bound, caught in a loop of rigid expectations and measured worth, rooted in fear of the unknown and an apprehension of vulnerability. Amidst this, superiority emerges as a powerful force driving the ego's relentless validation chase. The compulsion to be viewed as superior is starkly illuminated, from bold competition to subtle condescension, rooted deeply in the fear of inadequacy. Yet this is nothing but a mask, hiding the universal truth of our impermanence, binding us in a cycle where the illusion of distinction severs us from the empathy that connects souls. True peace lies hidden in the acceptance of our collective insecurities, buried beneath the ego's drive for ascendancy. In the heart of this conundrum lies resistance, the ego's dynamic defense against the unknown, a fortified wall guarding its constructed identity with a tenacity born of fear. This resistance avoids yielding, equating it with weakness while preventing growth and deeper connection. Though the ego aims for safety, it distances us from inner peace, which flourishes in acceptance, welcoming experience and allowing ourselves to be without the confines of separation. At the edge of this stirring realm, we find vulnerability, a state the ego perceives as a threat. Yet embracing vulnerability leads us to tender authenticity and genuine connection. It is a profound act that dismantles the ego's armour, inviting honesty where masks once prevailed, allowing light and shadow within us to coexist in clarity. Surrendering, though counterintuitive, is a sacred act that releases the ego's tenacious grip on life. Misunderstood by the ego as defeat, surrender unveils itself as a choice for peace over conflict. It's a state of flowing with life's rhythms, trusting both certainty and surprise, reshaping our definition of victory. With surrender comes the serene wisdom of the present, bathed in the gentle glow of genuine peace. Inner peace arrives as an unfolding presence, not something to be aggressively grasped. With the quieting of the ego's demands, peace allows for a harmonious engagement with the present, merging life's dualities into a symphony of being. The shift to this perception, acknowledging peace as an ever-present reality, requires letting go of the ego's cluttered image and embracing an existence that simply is, nurturing the soil from which peace blooms. This silent revolution of acceptance opens a door to the soul's serenity. Embracing both light and shadow within our humanity, acknowledgement without judgment nurtures peace. Acceptance transcends the ego's impulses, inviting us to release non-essential narratives, embracing our reality with compassion. As resistance dissolves, tranquility flows, fostering peace within and reflecting outwards. Deep within this journey lies the profound unity that threads through all life. Transcending the ego's division, unity invites us to perceive beyond separation, seeing through life's paradoxes to the potential peace held within. Approaching life, not as arenas of conflict but as webs of coherence, sheds new light upon our understanding. Embracing this unity dissolves internal battles and allows the soul's true essence of peace to unfold, a radiant whisper within the quiet revolution of acceptance. In the gentle, unfolding story of the self, the ego emerges as a necessary shell, a protective layer that guards the tender psyche. From the innocence of childhood, it weaves itself together from traces of ancestral whispers and the world's shaping hands, crafting a narrative of distinction. It finds comfort in defining boundaries, me and not me, providing a scaffolding of stability in a world that dances unpredictably. Yet these assurances come with their own shadows. As it shelters us from the chaos of the unknown, the ego erects walls, mistaking them for bridges to deeper understanding. In its fortress of illusions, the ego becomes both creator and captive, a paradoxical architect who lays each brick of perceived control only to clutch desperately at this self-constructed reality. Beneath this external facade lies the soul, a deeper essence longing for expression, ever restless under the ego's rigid domain. The soul whispers of endless horizons, urging us to transcend these limitations. But the ego, fearing dissolution, fights to maintain its dominion. This struggle between grasping control and seeking deeper understanding colours the journey of personal evolution. The road is arduous yet essential, as it draws us toward individuation, the harmonious integration of the seen and unseen within us. It is an ancient dance of conflict leading to peace, a subtle tapestry woven with the ego's defiant shouts and the soul's gentle murmurs. Integral to the ego's nature is an illusion of separation, thriving on dichotomies it meticulously constructs: self and other, success and failure, love and loathing. This dualistic perception offers a comforting illusion of control, spinning stories that sustain its narrative of uniqueness. Here within its lonely kingdom, the ego hides from the world's shared humanity, crafting convoluted tales of autonomy. Yet as the soul calls forth, the illusion begins to waver, revealing the interconnectedness the soul knows so deeply. It is not merely unity, but a profound entwining of existence, pressing gently against the ego's binary limitations. As this truth unfurls, the internal battle transforms, blurring the once rigid lines and allowing a more profound understanding to emerge, leading us from isolation toward connection. In the soul's journey lies an unyielding quest for wholeness, a yearning to transcend fragmentation imposed by the ego. This desire speaks to the universal drive towards self-actualization, where the fullest potential of being is realized through the embrace of all our varied experiences. The soul calls us to reclaim even the darkest shadows cast off by the ego's fear, inviting us to weave these banished pieces into the fabric of our being. This introspective voyage is fraught with challenges, as reintegrating these hidden aspects threatens the ego's structured identity. Yet, within this struggle lies the possibility of transformative growth, as the soul guides us through the labyrinth of our inner selves toward a unity that sees life not as disconnected events, but as an intricate, interconnected tapestry. Jung, the sage of depth psychology, illuminated this profound struggle between ego and soul, viewing the ego as a necessary hub of consciousness, limited yet pivotal within the psyche. He preached the path of individuation, urging the integration of the conscious and unconscious, ego and soul. It is a rite of passage, this confrontation with the shadow, the repressed facets of self kept invisible by the ego's drive for coherence. He reminded us that only by acknowledging our shadows can we hope to achieve maturity and harmony. For Jung, this war between ego and soul is not a pathology, but a necessary journey of discovery, a narrative where embracing paradoxes leads us to the essence of peace. To guide us on this path, Jung also spoke of archetypes, those universal symbols residing in our collective unconscious. They manifest as recurring motifs, the hero, the sage, the lover, guiding us through the maze of self-discovery. These shapes illuminate the soul's journey, transcending the ego's rigid boundaries by pushing us toward deeper truths. As we encounter these archetypal patterns, our understanding expands, and the ego ceases to resist change, embracing growth as harmonious evolution rather than threat. Integral to this growth is shadow work, a sacred healing journey of bringing the unconscious into light. It is a gentle invitation to integrate suppressed emotions, those fragments the ego would rather hide, and transform them into a wealth of self-awareness. As we usher these shadows into consciousness, we engage in an act of self-compassion, peeling away layers to reveal a fuller, integrated self. This essential reconciliation moves the psyche from discord to acceptance, a transformation rooted in authenticity. Peace emerges not from the dominance of one, but the dance of integration, where each aspect finds balance. The ego learns to recognize the soul's expansive call, courageously stepping into vulnerability. Vulnerability, contrary to the ego's perception of weakness, becomes a gateway to connection and authentic living, transforming fractures into bonds of empathy. In this embrace, the essence of self finds expression, where the echoes of conflict are soothed by the soul's infinite depth, leading us to dwell in peace, a symphony of existence in perfect harmony. In the hushed alcoves of our inner world, where shadows dance in the corners of consciousness, projection emerges as a curious companion. It serves as a guardian, protecting the fragile ego from the revelations of unwanted desires and fears. Born from the depths of subconscious stirrings, projection cloaks these hidden facets of ourselves, casting them onto the world beyond. And so, our perceived enemies become mere reflections in the ocean of our psyche, mirror images of traits we can scarcely acknowledge. At times disguised as disdain, envy disguises itself, longing for deeper understanding. Yet, this act of casting away creates illusory separation, stoking the flames of misunderstanding where compassion could instead blossom. Projection's reach extends beyond the confines of personal relationships, spreading like ink across the canvas of society. Nations, much like individuals, partake in this theatre, projecting their inner turmoil outward onto perceived adversaries. The lines between societal narratives and personal shadows blur, as stories of otherness craft separation where unity might flourish. It's a delicate dance of avoidance, constructing walls that bind entire cultures. Yet within this dance lies an invitation, a call to recognise our shared human plight. In this vast interplay, projection's presence becomes profound, a collective opportunity for metamorphosis. By looking within, acknowledging these shadows, we embark on a path toward integration, where healing whispers and peace beckons softly. In the intricate choreography of relationships, projection weaves its spell with a persistent grace. Partners become entangled in a tapestry of unresolved pasts, each projecting inner whispers onto the other. The wounds of yesteryears resurface as unfounded critiques or apprehensions cloaked in accusation. This cycle spins a web of misunderstanding, distancing hearts that once sought union. Yet every thread of projection offers revelation, a chance to delve into the tapestry and unearth the threads of truth woven within. With patience and kindness, partners may engage in open dialogue, unearthing veils to reveal an understanding that embraces the totality of human imperfection. On the grand stage of geopolitics, projection reigns with a heavier hand. Nations embroil themselves in battles, seeking to dismiss vulnerabilities by laying them on foes. Fear persuades minds, scripts, histories marked by blame, and fuels division. Yet beneath this grand narrative lies an invitation for societies to delve deeper, to peer into the mirror of self-discovery. Through collective reflection, peace whispers its possibility. As nations momentarily pause, introspection may grant salvation, dissolving barriers to reveal a common humanity that transcends the thirst for division. Integration of the shadow sits at the heart of dismantling projection, a serene journey into what we stifle. Jung, with profound wisdom, tells us that within these shadows lie vaults of potential, keys to undiscovered strengths and creativity. By acknowledging the unspoken energies within, we begin to weave a more authentic self. This ritual of acceptance becomes sacred work, welcoming each fragment of self as a boon rather than a curse. And as we step into this alchemy of soul, transformation unfolds, not as an eradication, but as an embrace of wholeness that subsumes even our darkest corners in light. Embarking on this sacred pilgrimage demands tools that ground us in presence. Mindfulness meditation opens a door to clarity, revealing the ego's tendency to weave distorted tapestries of reality. Through mindful observation, the distinction between our reality and projections unfurls, weaving resilience and understanding in the spaces they leave behind. Engaging in self-reflection furthers this journey, each question another stepping stone towards self-awareness. Here, supportive counselling provides a sanctuary for discovery, allowing exploration into the landscapes of shadow with gentle guidance. These practices foster growth, shifting reactions into opportunities for connection as the tapestry of projection unravels. Compassion stands as the guiding star in this journey, a balm that softens the sharp stones of judgment. Through compassion's gentle gaze, individuals learn to turn inward with understanding, complexities embraced with grace. In this space, the illusion of separateness fades, an invitation to unite with others in a common humanity. Herein, the whisper of compassion becomes a chorus, harmonizing echoes of past and present to forge bonds of true empathy. Self-awareness, like the light of dawn over hidden valleys, becomes the key to reclaiming what is lost to projection. Anchored in the moment, reflection illuminates the labyrinth of the self, untangling patterns that bind us. With intentional practice, the tangled threads become a tapestry of conscious creation. In this landscape, self-awareness reclaims power, transforming the once unseen into seeds of transformation, nurtured by introspection. As we navigate this intricate weave of projection and shadow, we find an entwined dance of interconnection, each projection bearing the gift of awareness. Embrace this invitation to delve within, for a projection stands not only as a defence, but a sacred guide leading to ancient depths. Through creative expression, let projections find form, art granting voice to whispers unspoken. Here transformation gently ripples across the soul like a quiet brook. And so, in this embrace of projection as growth's tender ally, we embark upon a journey of enlightenment. This path, though daunting, holds promise, a sacred narrative of self-betterment rooted in challenge. By viewing projection through this lens of discovery, we unfurl a richer existence, where peace is not hunted, but gently unfurled. Compelled by shared vulnerability, each challenge becomes a guiding light, illuminating the spaces between ego and soul. Within, true unity finds its expression, a path elegantly winding toward the horizon of collective wholeness. In the sacred weave of Carl Jung's psychology, individuation stands as a delicate process where the fragmented self embarks on a gentle reunion with its core essence. This journey is an exploration into the unfathomed depths of psychic waters, a pilgrimage back to authenticity, where the self shimmers through the veils of ego's illusions. It is a compassionate unravelling, shedding superficial layers constructed for validation, and instead embracing the harmonious mosaic of one's true nature. Like a timeless dance, it requires the shedding of the ego's hardened skin, a surrender into fluidity rather than rigid control. In the quiet cocoon of contemplation, we face our shadows, those parts shunned and buried in response to societal whispers and personal discomforts. The ego fashions these shadows into masks, yet individuation beckons us to embrace them with tender acceptance. It is here that the boundaries of self and other dissolve, revealing our interconnectedness within the tapestry of human experience. This soft surrender doesn't herald the physical demise of the ego, but a metamorphic release, allowing the authentic self to breathe and expand, fostering true peace and equilibrium. Self-awareness, like a shimmering mirror, stands as our tool for chiseling away the ego's facade. As it reflects both light and shadow, the journey of self-awareness becomes a mindful endeavour, where we recognise and liberate the dysfunctional patterns that protected our ego. It's less a judgment on the ego's form and more an understanding of its place within the grander tapestry of our psyche. It dares us to face our narratives, reimagining our relationship with scarcity into one of abundance and openness. The shadows we uncover carry hidden treasures, latent potential and untapped creativity, awaiting our open embrace. In the quiet, patient work of shadow exploration, the ego's veil gently dissolves. This introspective journey holds the invitation for liberation, where the ego releases its grip, allowing us to dance gracefully between light and dark, unveiling psychological resilience and emotional maturity. In the luminous dance between opposites lies the path to transcend the ego's dualistic nature. The ego yearns for simple dichotomies: success versus failure, strength versus weakness, love versus hate. But life, in its wisdom, teaches us that the spectrum is filled with myriad hues. Here, individuation calls us to move beyond rigid definitions, embracing the paradoxes that weave the fabric of existence. It prompts us to find the equilibrium where joy and sorrow coexist, leading us to a realm where contradictions are welcomed and celebrated, just as life intended. The essential embrace of vulnerability unfolds like petals in the quiet garden of self-discovery. Vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness by the ego, yet it is the sacred key that unlocks authenticity. It strips away pretenses, granting us the courage to present our true selves to the world. By tenderly welcoming our vulnerability, we allow the ego to release its fearful grip, fostering genuine connections rooted not in competition or judgment, but in respect and understanding. To let go signifies a symbiotic relinquishment, an active surrender to the natural flow of life beyond ego's orchestrations. It is a quiet invitation to trust what lies beyond the mirage of control, offering liberation from patterns that no longer serve our higher self. This letting go fosters a deeper engagement with life's unfolding mysteries, encouraging a grace-filled acceptance of impermanence and inviting peace to reign where attachment once lingered. In moments of profound stillness, the cacophony of the ego's demands gently fades, revealing the serene essence within our being. Silence is not merely the absence of noise, but a profound state where the ego's stories unravel, allowing deeper truths to surface. Here, in the quietude of reflection, we rediscover the sacred nourishment of breath and the interconnected vastness of our existence, nurturing a tranquil balance and grounding clarity. And so, the gentle quest for inner peace unveils itself as the tender gift of ego death. It is here, amid the soul's quiet whispers, where the harmony of mind, body, and spirit comes to rest in divine unison. Inner peace radiates as a quiet strength, a resilient core untouched by the restless desires of the ego, offering sanctuary amid life's tempests. It asks us to embrace simplicity and wonder, finding contentment not in the transience of external accolades, but in the eternal constancy of self-love and self-awareness. As the narrative of our being unfolds, the journey of self-discovery becomes an intricate exploration of the soul's deepest roots. It challenges us to move beyond the confining corridors of ego's narratives, stepping into an awe-inspiring realm of possibility and essence. Each step inwards dismantles false barriers, opening us to the richness and depth of our authentic self. This path of individuation delivers us to integration and wholeness, a sacred synthesis where the tapestry of our conscious and unconscious selves weaves a vivid picture of our realised potential. In this dynamic symphony, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the harmonious balance of our myriad facets, a continuous rebirth into the self's true rhythm. Here, we come home to ourselves, a testament to the intricate dance of life where peace, love and purpose flourish eternally within. In the quiet corners of the human journey, paradox holds its revered place, anchoring the depths of our experiences. Joy and grief weave through our lives like interwoven threads, each enhancing the vivid hues of the other. While joy dances through life with lightness, grief etches profound beauty into our souls, carving space for understanding. The ego, on its relentless quest for certainty and comfort, grapples with these dualities, seeking to simplify what is inherently complex. It resists the confounding ambiguity, longing for black and white definitions that protect its identity. Yet, paradox defies such simple categorization. It invites us to linger in those discomforting spaces, where complexities refuse to resolve into binaries but reveal their multifaceted truths. Here the soul finds solace, weaving rich tapestries from contradictions that the ego simply cannot fathom. Take, for example, the interplay of strength and softness. The ego sees these as opposing forces, yet the soul discerns a deeper harmony. Authentic strength doesn't emerge from rigid facades, but from embracing vulnerability, incorporating it into the very fabric of our being. Conversely, softness, often mistaken for weakness, is a profound openness, allowing resilience and strength to blossom from within. The ego's rigidity restricts such understanding, unable to embrace the fluidity of opposites. As we move beyond this limitation, life becomes a rich symphony, composed of seemingly discordant notes that come together in perfect harmony. At the heart of Jungian psychology, the exploration of shadow work beckons us to reconcile the luminous and darker recesses of our psyche. The shadow represents parts of ourselves deemed undesirable by the ego, banished to preserve a pristine self-image. Yet these elements are not adversaries of the light. They are integral facets of our wholeness. They invite us to perceive dualism not as disorder, but as the intricate reality of human existence. Our soul urges this embrace, revealing that illumination exists precisely because darkness provides a necessary counterbalance. Embarking on shadow work dissolves the simplistic view of dualism, transforming the egocentric worldview. Here, light does not conquer darkness. They are reconciled as vital parts of our authenticity. This understanding extends beyond our inner psychology into the broader existential realm. In embracing shadow work, moments of sorrow yield liberation, as integrating shadows releases reservoirs of stuck energy. As we practice shadow integration, the ego's rigidity falls away, awakening to the fluid dance between light and dark. Life's most profound truths reside in this interplay, a realm where contradictions coexist, enriching and expanding our true selves. Here we find that the soul's embrace of these truths transforms the discomfort of the ego into a soulful acceptance of intrinsic duality. By delving into the contradictions of our existence, we unlock profound healing and growth. The ego, yearning for consistency, flinches from the tension that contradictions present. But the soul, with its keen eyes, glimpses healing potential in these very dynamics. Consider the intricate dance between love and fear, to the ego irreconcilable, yet they are intimately entwined. Love arises from vulnerability, a condition shadowed by fears of loss or rejection. And yet in welcoming both emotions, we find a love that encompasses courage and resilience. In facing these contradictions, we transcend our habitual defences, fostering healing and growth in the process. This interplay of seemingly contradictory forces extends to how we engage with change and continuity. The ego may resist change, fearing a threat to established identity, or cling to continuity, terrified of the unknown. Yet in the reconciliation of these forces, the soul thrives, nurturing adaptability and creativity. Change, when embraced, becomes a catalyst for growth, while continuity affords the grounding necessary for sustained development. By transcending the ego's aversion to contradiction, we uncover a wisdom that recognizes the healing potential in opposing forces. It is here, at the intersection of contradiction, that the ego relaxes its grip, allowing a holistic and integrated journey toward personal evolution. Paradox, in its profound capacity to juxtapose seemingly contrary ideas, becomes a catalyst for insight. It urges us to question surface-level perceptions, diving into deeper truths. Imagine the paradox of desiring solitude while yearning for connection. At first glance, these desires clash, yet diving deeper reveals their complexity. Solitude is where genuine connection may take root. Alone in the fertile silence, we cultivate an authentic self capable of deeper interaction. By embracing paradox, we transcend egoic definitions, fostering a journey of self-discovery and interconnectedness. Wisdom emerges at the fringes of contradiction, bridging dichotomous concepts. Freedom, contrasted with responsibility, challenges the ego's interpretation of opposition. One allows for boundless expression, the other restriction. However, true freedom thrives only when tethered to responsibility. In embracing these paradoxes, we release the need for resolution, inviting insights that surpass singular answers. The soul enlarges not through certainties, but through questions that open further inquiry. By celebrating the paradox as a catalyst, we nurture a mindset open to transformation, where wisdom evolves not in stagnant formulas, but in life's dynamic dance. In the quiet depths of our being, anxiety often emerges like the whisper of unsettled winds. It is not the unwelcome beast we sometimes perceive it to be, but rather a deep signal from our soul, a gentle tug at the fabric of our constructed self. This anxiety arises when the ego, desperately clinging to its fragile identity, insists on certainty and control. It becomes rigid, a guardian of false security, ever wary of disruptions that might shake its carefully curated reality. Within this constant vigilance, a simmering tension brews, manifesting as anxiety. A message perhaps from the psyche, urging us to explore the cracks in our polished facades. Seen through the lens of wisdom, anxiety unveils the places where ego rigidity has overshadowed the soul's fluid nature. The ego, in a misguided dance of self-preservation, blocks the natural rhythms of transformation, craving predictability that stifles the soul's quest for wholeness. It fears the unknown and clings to separation and superiority, blindsided by its need to keep its world intact. Yet anxiety reminds us that it is time to reconcile who we appear to be with who we are meant to become. It is an invitation to gaze inward, to uncover deeper truths beyond ego's restrictions. In the dance between ego and soul, anxiety speaks softly of ego's betrayal. It clings to societal norms and external images, while gently overshadowing the authentic self within. A misstep not born of malice, but of misguided attempts at protection. The ego sees conformity as security, creating inner turmoil between upholding an image and expressing genuine self. Our authentic voice grows faint under the weight of such betrayal, and anxiety arises as a symptom of this internal struggle. Roles and masks no longer serving us are worn daily, while desires remain obscured by layers of conformity. The ego's stubborn grip stifles the self's evolution, creating a chasm between existence and aspiration. Anxiety, the soul's whisper, urges us to bridge this divide, to shed the chains of false personas and embark on a journey towards self-discovery and acceptance. In heeding this call, we begin to unravel the bindings of illusion, initiating healing. and a return to wholeness beyond ego's confines. Shadow work presents itself as a soul-deep path to navigate anxiety. This practice beckons us to come face to face with the unconscious shades lurking in our depth, facets the ego deems unacceptable, threatening its constructed reality. The more fiercely we repress these shadowed selves, the stronger they become, allowing anxiety to flourish in the shadow's fertile soil. In the gentle embrace of shadow work, we confront and integrate these hidden pieces, accepting them as facets of our wholeness rather than hiding them away. Embracing our shadow involves facing long-denied fears and vulnerabilities, illuminating them with acceptance. In this courage, we find relief from anxieties, their power to disturb diminished as we bring truths into light. Thus, this ancient practice dissolves ego rigidity, fostering peace within. By welcoming our shadow into our lives, we free ourselves from fear's chains, allowing us to move towards a more authentic, harmonized existence. Projection stands as ego's defense, amplifying anxiety by flinging our inner unrest onto others, creating conflict without and within. This resistance against self-reflection results in a perception where external threats loom, feeding anxiety. Yet projection, though granting temporary reprieve, fragments the self, echoing unresolved inner chaos in outer interactions, thus perpetuating cycles of fear and anxiety that the ego desperately seeks to evade. This mounting anxiety serves as a reminder, a call to reclaim these shadowed aspects and weave them into our being. By recognizing our projections, we journey towards unity and harmony, reducing anxiety and embracing authentic living. In unraveling projections, we tread a path beyond ego's fears, discovering genuine peace and healing. Emotional triggers, those sudden flashes we often dismiss, act as gateways into our deeper psyches. They shine light on areas where ego strains against life's ebb and flow, resisting disruptions as threats. These triggers link deeply with unresolved narratives and unhealed wounds, mapped onto our fragile self-images and guarded by ego's fortress. Exploring these triggers with compassion allows insight into those underlying fears and unmet needs tied to rigidity. Envisioning them not as adversaries, but as guides, we embrace discovery, dismantling constructs that obscure liberation. This inward exploration demands patience, promising healing and transformation as anxiety morphs from hindrance to catalyst. Vulnerability, often shunned, is misunderstood as weakness, yet it holds immense power, calming anxiety born of ego's rigidity. The ego guards its frailty with barriers, protecting its sense of self. Yet, these defences restrict authentic connections, rendering self-acceptance impossible. In vulnerability, courageously we break down such walls, allowing insecurities to rise, to be held tenderly. Entering this sacred space honours our humanity, transcending control and perfection's demands. Openness offers release, the soul claims its rightful place. As anxiety fades, becoming a gentle reminder of barriers broken. With vulnerability, we embrace our essence, fostering deeper connections where anxiety once dwelled evolves into empathy and self-awareness. In the quiet tapestry of Jungian psychology, peace whispers to us from the path known as the middle way. It is a delicate dance of balance, avoiding the sharp edges of extremes that threaten to tear at the seams of our psyche. Such a concept, touched by the wisdom of Eastern traditions like Buddhism, beckons us toward a life that sways gently between opposites, embracing both shadow and light. Imagine this middle way as a tender bridge spanning the turbulent waters of ego-driven identity and the serene landscape of our innermost essence, a place where peace blossoms not through strife, but in the tranquil embrace of equilibrium. The ego, in its spirited pursuit of identity, thrives among extremes, defining itself by creating divisions, superior here, inferior there. In this sharp contrast, inner turmoil often finds its roots. Yet, Jung believed in the gentle art of navigating these dichotomies, advocating that peace is not the loud clamour of conquest, but the quiet uncovering of harmony within. By honouring paradoxes, we find that strength and vulnerability are not foes but partners in a symphony of the soul. This delicate interplay transforms our inner conflicts into a harmonious dance, leading us tenderly to a more balanced and serene existence. In the landscape of life, extremism often marches in step with the ego's desire for control, manifesting in rigid beliefs and tumultuous emotions. Such imbalance clouds the heart and mind, breeding anxiety and disconnect. In contrast, balance extends a kind hand, inviting us to navigate life's rich tapestry of complexities, to find not fear, but peace. Embracing all of who we are, shadows entwined with light, we honour the Taoist dance of yin and yang, where each counterpart cradles a seed of the other. Here, balance is not denial, it is the elegant waltz with life's unpredictability, where peace naturally emerges when we release the ego's fervent demand for dominance. Integration in Jungian thought whispers softly as the art of weaving together the disparate threads of our psyche into a whole cloth. It invites us to embrace the orchestra of our conscious and unconscious selves, leading us down the path of individuation, a journey toward becoming authentically whole. This voyage does not deny differences, but instead brings them together in conversation, transforming discord into harmony. Acknowledging our shadow, those parts the ego avoids, allows us to reconcile contradictions within, diminish fragmentation, and step into a unified existence graced with peace. As our psyche unfolds and integrates, it embraces a stillness and contentment beyond the transient pursuits of the ego, aligning us with a profound peace and purpose. Life, in its mystical dance, is laced with paradoxes that challenge the edges of our understanding. The ego, yearning for clarity, often stiffens at their touch, creating internal discord. Yet it is in the embracing of paradox, where seemingly contradictory truths coalesce, that we free ourselves from the chains of binary thinking. Jung knew well that the soul speaks in this language of opposites, urging us to remain open to complexity. Accepting paradox as a natural cadence of existence liberates us from the ego's constant chase for control, and invites us to dwell more mindfully in the moment. Here, within the complexity, peace blooms as we deepen our understanding of both self and others, unlocking a wellspring of genuine compassion. Equanimity, the serene guardian of the mind, stands as a cornerstone of psychological resilience. Within the gentle embrace of the middle way, it sings not of apathy but of a balanced engagement with the world. Here emotions are acknowledged and released, fostering an internal landscape where clarity reigns. By practicing equanimity, we train our hearts to weather the emotional storms with grace, reducing reactivity and cultivating a balanced mind. This resilience is not an avoidance of feeling, but an artful understanding of emotion's transient nature, allowing peace to cascade through us as we witness life's challenges from a place of centered calm. Acceptance, a gentle cornerstone of the middle way, invites us to embrace life as it presents itself, sans judgment or resistance. This practice gently melts the ego's illusion of control, letting peace flow forth from within. Acceptance does not mean passive surrender, but is an active engagement with life, acknowledging its uncertainties and imperfections. By accepting ourselves and the tapestry of our circumstances, we lighten the ego's burdens of resistance and discover true liberty and peace within. In surrendering to life's ebb and flow, we find contentment in the eternal now, unshackled by the past or the anxieties of what may come. Detachment, whispering like a soft breeze, plays a vital role in cultivating peace. In the middle way, detachment isn't indifference. It is a gentle release from the emotional binds of ego-driven desires and fears. By observing our thoughts and emotions without attachment, we clear our vision, allowing authentic interaction with the world. Through this practice, we unchain ourselves from rigid self-definitions, making space for peace to naturally blossom. Detachment also enhances our empathy and understanding, freeing us from projections that shadow our interactions. This newfound freedom forges deeper connections with ourselves and others, nurturing grounded peace beyond the transient pursuits of the ego. Finally, mindfulness emerges as a gentle lighthouse, guiding us through the middle way, with its practice of intentional, non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. Cultivating mindfulness, we step into a space of alert stillness, fully engaging with life beyond the ego's frantic graspings. As mindfulness unfurls within us like a soft mist, it diminishes the ego's influence, revealing the peace nestled within stillness. When woven into daily life, mindfulness becomes a constant companion, sustaining us through life's symphonies with enduring harmony and peace. As we journey through the middle way, we see peace not as a distant horizon, but as a radiant quality of our being. This path, echoed in Jung's thought, promises transformation through balance and acceptance. Relinquishing the ego's hold makes space for a peace that breathes freely within our soul's landscape. Peace invites us to live harmoniously, allowing ego and soul to find their serene duet, unfolding possibilities for growth, healing and understanding as we embrace the intricate tapestries of life with grace and presence. In the quiet dance of our inner worlds, where shadows mingle with light, lies a timeless conflict between the ego and the soul. The ego, ever cautious, builds its fortress from familiar stones, each one a testament to boundaries shaped by fear. It whispers caution against the unknown, clinging to safety as its paramount virtue. This is not born from malice, but from an ancient instinct to shield us in a world that once equated the unknown with danger. In this protective stance, the ego sees the vibrant desires of the soul as unsettling threats, eager to dismantle its carefully constructed certainty. The soul, in its quiet and expansive nature, gazes past the walls that the ego erects, seeking growth where the ego foresees peril. To the soul, there is a whisper of potential in every unknown, a call to authenticity, a beckoning toward true purpose. The friction between these two is palpable, a tension familiar to anyone who has felt the deep yearning to step into the new, yet hesitated at the edge of change. And in this dance of opposites, to understand the fear rooted in the ego is to gently challenge those old barriers, allowing cracks through which the aspirations of the soul might flourish. In the shadowed corridors of our psyche, as Jung would tell us, lurk those facets of self the ego deems too risky to embrace, those desires it banishes to the darkness. Here lies the shadow, a trove of repressed stories and denied dreams, not sinister but misjudged, waiting for the light of understanding. The ego, intent on preserving its identity, often shuns these unfamiliar parts, yet what lingers in shadow never truly vanishes. Instead, it stirs the currents beneath our conscious thought. The soul, ever brave, invites us to venture into this shadowy realm, for within it resides the gold of self-discovery and authenticity. The ego's affinity for the known becomes a double-edged sword, offering comfort yet binding us to inertia. Its allegiance to routine protects but also confines, lulling us into a false assurance while stifling the soul's call to explore beyond. Breaking free from these comfortable chains requires us to shift toward discomfort, which, though daunting, is where evolution breathes. The soul beckons us to this edge, to embrace uncertainty, and therein lies the art of true growth, the realization that life's richness begins beyond the borders of comfort, where the ego hesitates to tread. What the ego perceives as destabilizing desires, the soul views as sacred invitations to growth. These are more than mere wishes from the heart. They are profound calls to expand, urging us to step into authenticity. The nature of these desires aligns with our most true values, offering blueprints for evolution itself. They are the soul's beacons, illuminating paths unknown and urging us towards transformation, even if it means embracing vulnerability and uncertainty. In this pursuit, embracing vulnerability becomes a powerful ally, standing contrary to the ego's pursuit of control. Vulnerability does not signify weakness, but rather a courageous state of being open, where true connection and transformation take root. It is the willingness to trust, let down defences, and engage the heart deeply. The soul comprehends that through vulnerability, we unlock gates to empathy and creativity, dissolving the ego's dependence on external validation and anchoring in the strength of self-worth and genuine expression. The ego's resistance to the soul's call often rises when change looms on the horizon. This resistance, fraught with the fear of losing control, signals impending evolution. Here the soul urges steadfastness, to sail through turbulent doubts with courage. By gently negotiating with the ego, we harness its protective instincts as part of our transformative journey. Thus, this resistance becomes not a barrier, but a compass pointing toward paths ripe for discovery. Learning to detach, to pursue desires free from the ego's demands, is another crucial stride. The soul guides us toward life's flow, where expectations dissolve, inviting us to bask in the journey without clinging to rigid outcomes. This mindset nurtures resilience and wisdom, welcoming life's uncertainties as pathways to deeper knowledge and allowing desires to manifest naturally, unveiling the soul's tapestry. Acceptance, the fertile ground for desires, is where the soul's wishes finally blossom. It is the gentle art of acknowledging the present moment without judgment, enabling us to engage life fully. The soul thrives in this acceptance, teaching us to navigate reality's complex dance with grace, fostering inner peace and reducing the ego's reactive grip. Through acceptance, in all its rich complexity, the chains of resistance dissolve, making way for the soul's deepest desires to unfold, embracing us with the wisdom of becoming whole. Aligning desire with purpose becomes the song to which the soul dances. As desires root in authentic purpose, they resonate with clarity, offering direction and motivation. To achieve this harmony, introspection is key, unveiling our deeper values and aspirations. This alignment empowers us to live authentically, fusing the soul's quest for self-realization with the ego's structures into a unified dance. In doing so, we transcend surface fears and step into the infinite potential the soul envisions, celebrating life as an eternal journey of discovery and joy. In the symphony of our inner world, the ego clatters like a relentless drum, its noise drowning out the gentle flute of the soul. It weaves its identity in chaos, demanding attention and shaping narratives born from the fear of stillness. The ego's noise is armour for vulnerability, convincing us that its vociferous truths are the only ones worth hearing. It spins stories filled with shoulds and musts, directing us towards achievements and validations that shield us from authentic depths. Yet true peace is an ancient river, seeking the quiet embrace of stillness that the ego fiercely resists. Amidst this cacophony, we craft lives cluttered with distractions. We chase validations, amass material trophies, and fill every void with pursuits that drown out the subtle whispers of the soul. The ego revels in this din, mistaking loudness for truth. Yet beneath there lies a yearning, a quiet desire for the silence we hardly recognise but deeply crave. When we are brave enough to lower the ego's volume, the soul's delicate song begins to unveil our truest essence, which the ego tirelessly tries to silence with endless noise and activity. In hushed tones the soul speaks, a whisper carrying profound insights beneath the ego's blaring insistence. Its language is fluid, beckoning us to journey inward, exploring complexity without judgment. Here lies an invitation to embrace paradox, to allow opposites to coexist in harmony rather than clash. By quieting the mind, we open a space for introspection, for contemplation free of pretense. Within these whispers, we discover ourselves anew, tapping into reservoirs of resilience and authenticity that transcend the simplistic dualities the ego clings to. To hear the soul, we must engage in a conscious practice, a deliberate cultivation of silence and presence, meditation, mindfulness, solitude. These become our pathways to deep inner dialogue. These practices peel back layers of superficial identity, asking us to trust in the process of discovery. As we nurture this silent space, we attune to a guidance that moves beyond logic, letting intuition light the way. The soul's whispers lead us to a grounded peace, allowing us to navigate life with clarity and purpose, shaped by our deeper truths rather than the ego's superficial demands. Silence, a therapeutic balm, offers refuge from the ego's incessant clamour. In its embrace we find a sacred sanctuary, where we confront our fears and judgments with compassion. Here, in silence's sacred space, emotions surface unsuppressed, bringing raw truths to light. It strips away pretense and unearths the untouched psyche, allowing the soul to express its quiet wisdom. We discover a place where noise transforms, no longer the distraction, but the lens through which we peer into the hidden depths of our being. Living within silence bestows clarity and insight, enabling us to truly listen, both to our hearts and those around us. In learning the art of stillness, the ego's defences begin to dissolve, making way for genuine connection and empathy. Silence cultivates patience, urging us to respond rather than react, facilitating integration of our light and shadows. Through silence, we discover that peace is not found in the absence of turmoil, but in our capacity to hold stillness amidst it, to explore the fullness of our human experience without fear of noise. As we journey inward, discernment takes precedence over reaction. Where the ego thrives on impulsivity, true discernment pauses, inviting reflection over rash responses. By creating space between stimulus and response, the soul guides us towards deeper understanding. This space is power, a choice to act from wisdom rather than fear, to step back and observe without judgment, aligning actions with authentic values. As we tune into the soul's voice, we foster humility, recognizing that true discernment requires an embrace of uncertainty. In this dance between ego and soul, we find not division but integration. Peace lies not in rejecting one for the other, but in harmonizing their melodies. The ego offers structure, the soul depth and meaning. Integration is the alchemist's dream, transforming conflict into creative synergy. We learn to use the ego's energy to manifest the soul's higher purpose, transforming noise into music, struggle into harmony. This is the rhythm of our being, where the soul's silence guides and the ego's voice refines, crafting a life of authentic expression. Presence is another gift of the silent soul, a practice obscured by the ego's constant distractions. Silence leads us to presence, inviting us to slow and savour the richness of each moment. In this quiet, we unite with our environment and inner world, transcending the ego's chatter to sit fully in the now. Presence bridges connection, urging us to engage with life's unfolding mystery, savouring beauty without attachment. Here, our soul whispers, and the ego's demands dissolve, leaving a profound connection to existence. Embracing silence means embracing vulnerability, creating a safe haven where we can confront fears and insecurities with compassion. In this sanctuary, we honour our humanity, softening the ego's walls and recognising strength in openness. Vulnerability in silence nurtures empathy and genuine connection, inviting us to form relationships true to our unguarded selves. Within this transformation, fear gives way to courage, noise softens to clarity, and the soul's rightful place in leading our journey becomes evident. Thus, in this dance of silence and song, we touch something sacred, discovering peace, not in silence's void, but in its ability to reveal the gentle truths within. In the vast tapestry of our inner world, the ego stands as a vigilant guardian, seeking control and validation. It builds our identity with sturdy walls, separating us from the profound depths of our unconscious self. The ego thrives on clear distinction, weaving tales of disparity, of self versus other, of certainty versus surrender. Yet, as the wise Carl Jung observed, to heal is to transgress these boundaries, to allow change to wash over us like a gentle tide, dissolving the rigid lines drawn by the ego. Much like a seed must shatter its shell to grow, the ego too must soften, preparing the ground for personal transformation. As we tread the path of healing, the ego's resistance can appear mighty, cloaked in skepticism or even defiance. It crafts narratives that shun vulnerability and self-acceptance. To humble the ego is to gently unravel these tales, laying bare the fears they conceal. It is an embrace of humility, an acknowledgement that true growth begins when we admit our limitations. In recognizing this resistance, we embark on the delicate journey of dismantling its defenses, creating channels for authentic healing. Suffering, often viewed as an adversary, is a profound teacher. It challenges the ego's yearning for permanence and presses us to delve into the heart of our discontent. Like a mirror, it reflects the conflicts inside when ego-driven desires collide with the reality of life's demands. While the ego might perceive suffering as a defeat, the soul sees fertile ground for renewal. Such moments of darkness offer the opportunity for genuine healing, inviting reflection and introspection that expose long-buried inner truths. Every breakdown carries within it the seeds of breakthrough. To the ego, these moments appear as threats to its constructed reality. However, they hold promises of rebirth. As we relinquish control over our narrative, we open ourselves to the insights hidden within our moments of falling apart. Breakdowns strip the ego's illusions of invincibility, propelling us to confront profound fears and insecurities. These periods where illusions burn away pave the way for a renewed sense of self to spring forth, a self no longer anchored by past limitations, but now conscious of genuine self-awareness and acceptance. In The Alchemy of Betrayal, we discover another poignant teacher. It disrupts our illusions of security, prompting the ego to react with anger or denial. Yet, entwined with this pain, lie lessons that compel us to explore the grey areas between trust and betrayal. This journey beyond the ego's dualistic perceptions urges us to re-evaluate our expectations and attachments, uncovering the deeper truths of our own fallibility. Moving beyond the initial hurt, we can reshape betrayal's raw emotions into powerful insights. As these insights guard us, trust transforms into a commitment to our values and boundaries, nurturing resilience and the invaluable skill of forgiveness. Loss, in all its forms, reveals the transience of life and the ego's denial of impermanence. When such profound experiences strip away superficial layers, they compel us to turn inward, necessitating vulnerability as we journey deeper into our essence. Through accepting life's fleeting nature, we uncover an intricate understanding of ourselves, nurturing a more profound connection with humanity and the world. It is this realization, born from embracing loss's inherent lessons, that teaches us to cherish the present moment and to revel in life's ephemeral beauty. Resilience, true and robust, unfolds not in a life devoid of hardship, but in the grace with which we engage with adversity. Through a lens of humility, we understand that challenges are opportunities for learning. This humility invites us to approach adversities with openness, to see them as steps towards growth rather than threats to be conquered. The ego loosens its grip, permitting us to learn from mistakes and embrace our vulnerabilities. It teaches us to stand firm amid life's storms, fostering a sense of interconnectedness that deepens our resilience. As we unite our experiences, we realize that resilience is a shared endeavor, woven by the threads of authenticity and compassion. Vulnerability, seen through the ego's eyes as fragility, is a wellspring of strength. It invites us to reveal our truest selves, embracing imperfections without fear of rejection. This act of intimate courage cracks open the facade of perfection the ego strives to maintain, encouraging deeper connections with others. In these moments of vulnerability, mutual trust blooms, fostering a space where healing naturally unfurls. It bridges the chasms of isolation, transforming solitude into shared understanding and acceptance. Ultimately, healing guides us to reconstruct the self, moving beyond the ego's confines into a dynamic flow of growth and transformation. This journey necessitates the shedding of identity constraints, inviting an exploration into our profound depths. Here we uncover our authentic self, one that embodies resilience, authenticity, and empathy. This reconstructed self does not seek validation from external markers, but is grounded in an understanding of our values and purpose. Throughout this ongoing journey, we encounter the rituals of inner work, journaling, meditation, and reflective inquiry, each offering a sanctuary for introspection and healing. As these practices enlighten our path, they sow the seeds of a legacy marked not by accolades, but the profound depth of our transformation. As this chapter ends, remember that on this sacred journey, each like, subscription, and share helps to create a community of healing and introspection. Join us, and let's explore together the depths of our inner worlds.